Hey, Christy Mattoon here with Mind Rewire. This section of videos is going to be on prayer. We're going to be talking about the what, the how, the why, how it all interrelates, and how you can have a more effective prayer life. You are on Mind Rewire. This is my channel, so if you're here watching this and you're getting anything out of it, I would love it if you would go ahead and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Click the bell to get notifications. And during this series, I want to tell you we're going to be listening to Michael S. Terrell's whole tones. In the first section, the one that we're going to be listening to is called The Bridge, that helps foster peace in relationships and probably in other areas too. It actually helps the endocrine system and the adrenal glands, so it calms you down. This is in 639 hertz. The particular selection we'll be listening to during this whole series. So if you like that, head on over to Michael S. Terrell's site. It's a .com. Look him up. Find whole tones. I'm sure he would love you going there. He does a fantastic job. I am not an affiliate or anything like that. So go ahead and do that, and we're going to get started. All right, here we are. This is part one of Mind Rewire's subscription to prayer. This is how I pray. This is what I think when I'm doing prayer and what I'm actually doing. And I just want to share it with you because I think prayer is such a powerful form of communication with Creator, with God, however you call it. That's what we want to be doing, and I want to teach you how to do it in such a way that it's very effective. And so we're going to start with this. This is part one on what is prayer. And why do we do it? So I believe personally that God has the answer to every problem. God has the answer to every problem. And it depends on how you look at what God is. Is God a universal energy that's out there that's actually, just the flow of everything going on around you? Or is God this entity that's up in the heavens somewhere that's directing traffic? However you view it, there is an answer to every problem. And the universe itself, because of the power of the manifestation within the universe, is constantly self-correcting. And I think when there's an incident, a bad thing happens, it could be something horrible, terrible, or just even the smallest little thing, from deep within us, there is an emergence of this divine mind of God, of this energy inside of our systems. It's a natural programming that happens innately in every person. It's part of your system. And should you feel it, should you choose to follow it, you will start to become a different person. People start to become the men and women that I think they're capable of being inside of understanding this concept. And you start to find what we call your purpose. People start stepping up and becoming vessels through this power in prayer, which is really just a higher level of concentrated thought. And you step into a different state, a state of compassion, a state of empathy. You do greater acts of love, right? A greater state of love, acts of forgiveness. And your minds and your nervous system are actually used as vessels and a way to accommodate this transformation. In the process of all this, you become light. And we hear this all the time. The light's within you. You're part of the light. You are light. And what it is that you're transforming the matter of the stuff around you, of the substance of yourself, into a wave. You're going from particle to wave and becoming this light being. People will tell you even inside their bodies that they feel lighter. They feel more airy, they feel more open, they feel more flowy when they're in this state than when they're just in the world and focusing on, got to get the next thing done, got to go to work, got to do this, I got to pay the bills, I got to take care of that. Going into panic mode and having anxiety over all the stuff that's around them instead of staying in this light, altered state. And I don't even think it's altered, we call it altered. I think it's the natural state you should be in. It shouldn't be an altered state. This should be totally natural, and it should be the way that you are all the time. being in this state and allowing your mind and your nervous system to become this vessel actually casts out fear. It removes darkness, right? You've heard that all the time. We hear about how, where darkness or where light is, there can't be darkness, right? And you're told, go into a dark room and turn on a flashlight and see what happens. If you are light and fear and darkness go hand in hand, and you're light, there can't be fear. Right? That's an interesting concept. Try and hang on to that one. So with your eyes closed, it's one thing. When your eyes are closed and you go into that place and you allow that to come up into your system and you start to feel the power of spirit moving through you, the power of that energy engaging in your system and lifting you up and open. It's an internal dialogue that opens up a different awareness and a closeness with your Creator, with God the Father, however you decide to call it, with the universe. It opens you up in a totally different pattern. And it's easier to surrender and to be in touch with God when you're in this state. It's just easier. And I'll explain to you why in just a second. But it's almost like that's where you're forming that relationship, that closeness, that bond to something besides what's sitting in front of you that's tangible on this planet. Right? So what happens when your eyes are closed and you're in this state and you're just feeling God, you're feeling that flowing energy all around you? And then all of a sudden you're in meditation and you feel this, right? The meditators out there, you'll feel this feeling inside your system. When you open your eyes, what happens? It all kind of goes away. Well, why is that? It goes away because of your five senses. Your five senses are a filter, right, from your spirit body to your physical body to the world. And through that filter is how you perceive things. So if you go into meditation and you get into this really yummy, you're just in awe in this beautiful state, feeling so wonderful and good and feeling love and feeling light. And then all of a sudden you open your eyes and it kind of lingers for a little bit. But then over time, you find yourself grasping for things of this world again. It's because your filter's kicked back in, right? And you're not trained to stay in that place of awareness. It's above the five senses, where you're seeing, you're touching, you're smelling, and your reality becomes solid matter around you again. So when you learn how to walk in the spirit, when you learn how to walk in that energy, when you learn, I worked with a shaman years ago, and she said, one of the goals is to keep one foot on the earth and one foot in heaven. So that you're always in both planes. You're never leaving heaven. You're never fully on this plane, because when you are, that's when everything just hits you and you can't rise above it. You have to keep either your hands, she would use all different ways of saying, keep your hands in heaven, right? Keep your hands in the sky. Or her most common phrase was keep one foot on heaven or one foot on earth and one foot in heaven. And when you can do that, what you're doing is you're walking around in that transformed state that you set up inside your meditation or your prayer practice. When you open your eyes and you start to realize you can hang on to that feeling and keep your brain waves at that higher level instead of letting it all sink back into your normal trudgery of the day, that's when you start to see daily miracles, and that's when you start to see miraculous change and transformation that is just so worth holding on to. You never want to let go of it. Okay, so this is part one. Part two, we're going to go into how do I pray and what is an effective prayer. So come back for part two, and go ahead and don't forget to it's not like on here. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video.